What do Arkansas fans need to do to have a rivalry game?
Well, yeah,
it's a bad position.
and it's weird too, because they're not in the conference that they were in for however many decades, and it's been in the SEC a long time now, but it's odd. And I actually wrote something about LSU for our SEC Nation show a couple weeks ago, which is who's their rival. And I did a story last week about who's their rival, because certain people of a certain age will say it was Ole Miss, and certain people of a certain age will say it's Alabama. Well, LSU ranks at best third on Alabama's rival list, but behind Auburn, I'd say Tennessee too. Yeah. And so, I would say for Arkansas fans, it's kind of the LSU model of what's the most important series that's coming up. If you're good enough to become worthy enough to be Alabama's rival, well then you'll take that job, because LSU just has it right now, but they've also lost them for almost a decade now. So the way that became a rivalry, because it wasn't for 50 years, the way that became a rivalry was LSU started winning the game. And so then when that back and forth happened in the late 90s through the middle of the 2000s, that's when that became a rivalry. So I would say to Arkansas fans, start beating up on somebody that didn't expect to get beat up on, and it'll probably turn into a rivalry.
The Missouri game at the end of the year it's got a ways to go, right?
Yeah.
Is that the way you feel about it?
Yeah, that's the way I feel about it. And it's I think that there's still kind of a recency thing with Missouri. I think in the SEC, I don't think it's fair, but there's still people in the SEC that just kind of like, well, we'll see. I mean, I grew up on Tobacco Road, and there will always be people on Tobacco Road that go, Syracuse? Why are we playing Syracuse? And so I think it's going to take some time. But again, the answer is be good at football. If Missouri is good at football and Arkansas is good at football and the game matters, then that will become a rivalry. But I think it feels like it should be natural. It's just going to take a little time to grow it.
You've been a pretty vocal supporter of Chad Morris. I mean, why do you think he'll get it done here at Arkansas?
Well, first of all, he's one of the best recruiters I've ever seen, and I'm not a recruiting writer. I never have been. We have plenty of people that do that, but I track it because I have to. And again, so I covered SMU or watched SMU for the bottom 10 that I write for ESPN.com for 10 years. People don't understand how awful they were. People think about June Jones taking them back to a bowl game. Well, his last year they won one game, and they won the bottom 10 championship. And Chad Morris should have had them in a bowl game the last 2 years, and he did in the last year. So when you see the level of energy that he puts into recruiting, and no one takes their role as the mentor of high school coaches more seriously than Chad Morris does, and that's going to pay benefits, because it's not just about your typical coach walks in, you got a 4-star and I want to sign him relationship. Morris, those are long-term relationships that he builds with those guys because he's one of them. It doesn't matter that he's a head coach at the highest level. He was coaching high school football 15 minutes ago. So he takes that very, very seriously. And so that's going to be the key. The key is going to be getting in the talent. And, I know enough to know that the recruiting class already looking pretty good, certainly better than it's looked around here in a long time.
So you've never covered an Arkansas game here.
At Arkansas, yeah.
At Arkansas. I had a chance this weekend.
Yeah.
So when's the next chance going to come up?
Well, y'all can blame my daughter will turn 14 on Friday, and I'm not going to miss her birthday to be here. No offense to anybody. But I've covered Arkansas in Little Rock. I've covered Arkansas in the Cotton Bowl. I've covered Arkansas at least 6 or 7 other SEC stadiums. I've covered Arkansas at the Belt Bowl. I've covered them everywhere. I've just never covered them in Fayetteville. So my answer to that would be the same answer to the rivalry question, which is be good at football. If you win, then they're probably going to put me on a plane and send me there.
Arkansas obviously eliminated from bowl contention. How do you see the rest of their season playing out? Do you think they can go into the offseason with some momentum?
They need one big one. They need one big one, and I really believe they're catching LSU at the right time. We were having this conversation before the speech today. LSU is down. I've been texting with those guys and talking with those guys this week, and they are down and they're hurt. It's not just that their feelings are hurt and that they're disappointed in the way they lost Alabama. They got physically, pushed and banged, and I just feel like it feels like a stage where Arkansas on national television in prime time could catch some eyes. And you just need one. you get one of these last three going into the winter, then I think that's going to be enough to calm everybody down just a little bit. Should be.